The Eric Adams, mayor of New York City, I thought keeping up with the super mayor, Tahoe Tiff without the Tahoes in Dalton and Township of Thornton. I thought keeping up with the drama there was difficult, but that is nothing compared to the shenanigans that we've got going on in New York City. I mean, New York City. And what's crazy is Eric Adams, the mayor, people are calling for him to resign. He's just got incoming stuff hitting up everybody in his administration. His attorney is quit. Now he's got yet a third senior level departure in 1 week. It's just boom. Everything is just kind of exploding. And just to keep track of this is difficult at best. You're like, now they had their phone taken away and now, okay, yeah, what are we doing? It's wild stuff. It's wild stuff. All right, let's jump on in. Enough of the chit chat. Let's get a going. So this is the main article here. Another Adams administration official resigns. Let's see what we got going on there. We've had the chief of police. We're on our third chief of police in New York City during the Eric Adams administration. I mean, just everybody is, what's happening here? Eric Adams' administration is losing another senior official, the third departure in just 1 week amid a whirlwind of federal investigations surrounding City Hall. Yeah, this is feds. The feds have come in. The FBI has come in. Yeah, we're going to need to see your phone. We're going to need to see your iPad. Yeah, we're going to need to. But the wild thing is they haven't charged really anybody with anything yet. There's been some other smaller cases going on, but I feel like they're doing a massive, fact gathering, a fishing expedition, right? Kristen Edgreen Kaufman, the Deputy Commissioner of Public-Private Partnerships and Economic Development, part of Mayor's Office of International Affairs, announced her resignation in a letter to colleagues. She's out of there. So she didn't say really why she was leaving, but there's this pattern, this ongoing pattern. And we've been watching this. We've been watching this for a long time because, you lose enough people in your administration and there's enough information out there. Hey, that's interesting. That $18 million that was raised during your campaign, Mr. Mayor. Some folks are questioning that. Ties to Turkey. Yeah. Ties to Brooklyn businesses. And you've got people in your administration, close people in his administration are being taken down left and right in these investigations. We're going to need to see your phone. Yeah. After nearly 3 years serving the mayor's Office of International Affairs as a deputy commissioner, I wanted to share with you that I'll be leaving my position at the end of this month. I'm grateful to Mayor Adams for this opportunity, but I no longer feel like this opportunity is an opportunity. It's a weight around my neck as my career goes down the tubes if I remain with this administration. That's what she's saying. That's literally what she's saying between the lines, right? Kaufman did not specify a reason for her departure in her resignation letter. Oh, okay. All right. She's just out of there. She's just boom, gone. Yeah. Kind of like his attorney did this weekend. Eric Adams' main attorney for his administration quit. Just boom. Yep. Done. And allegedly that is because, and Eric Adams he won't come out and say, he's like, if you hear anything other than from me or the original source, it's just rumor. Yeah, but people don't quit and resign a, mayor's office position just cause, you know what? It's a day that ends in Y. I just didn't really feel like being here anymore. So no, these are folks that have worked hard to get where they are. And when they realize that for their careers, that this is, not a positive, it's a negative, boom, done. They're out. So she didn't really just make it clear why. It was not clear whether her departure had anything to do with the ongoing investigations and other members of the administration's Adams administration. It's probably just something totally unrelated. No, that's just silly. That's silliness. Of course, it has to do with all of these investigations. And there's I think there's 4 main investigations. We're going to watch a quick video on it, but I wanted to get through this super quick because this is the most recent thing. But you've had three major folks go bye-bye related to the Eric Adams administration. Kaufman said she will continue to work. Yeah, don't really care about that. The office in which Kaufman worked acts as a go-between between the city, international diplomatic community. Okay, don't really care about that either. You get down to her departure follows the sudden resignation over the weekend by Lisa Zornberg. She's the city's chief counsel and legal advisor. When you've got all of these investigations going on, you need your attorney. Hey, should I comment? No, don't say anything about that. Okay. That's what you need an attorney for. Shut up. Okay. And that's what you do, right? Don't say anything. You're a moron. You don't know what you're doing. You're just putting your big old foot in your mouth. Okay. Zornberg said in her resignation letter she could no longer effectively serve in her role, but did not go into further detail. And that was because, again, Eric Adams allegedly won't listen to her and fire the folks that he needs to fire. Mayor Adams has declined to elaborate on reports that Zornberg abruptly quit because he refused to push out some of his members of his inner circle. So we've got the individual quitting today, the international, whatever it is, that actually happened yesterday. But then we've got the attorney, and then we've got chief of police. I mean, the whole thing is just boom, 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 boom. It's toppling. And as this toppling happens, folks are saying, he needs to go. He needs to go. Eric Adams, the mayor, gotta go. And so the attorney abruptly quit because he refused to push out members of the inner circle. That is what is being purported, who have been included in federal investigations, including aides who had their phones taken by the FBI. Earlier in the week, Adams said he adores Zornberg, the attorney, adding that only people make decisions and I respect those decisions. Okay, yeah, but she just quit on your administration. So if you really respected that person who is your chief attorney for the city, if you really respected that person, you would listen to them and do what they say. That's your attorney. That's how this works. Oh, no, Sean, you got it all wrong. The mayor just does whatever the F he wants. Oh, okay. Well, it appears that is the case, and that's why you're seeing what's happening. I think a lot of this has to do with Mayor Adams. The folks he's got surrounding him, a bunch of them are close friends. I mean, shocking, right? Politics in New York City, you got some folks that are on the take. I'm shocked. Made men? Shocking. New York City? No. I mean, we've known this is a known quantity. I find it fascinating. I'm born and raised here in Seattle area, and West Coast politics. Yeah, we've got some of that, but it's just not to the extent of what you see on the East Coast, specifically New York, right? It's just wild to see how politics are played and how much pay for play there is. And I'm not naive enough to say that doesn't happen here in Seattle, but it's just not the same drill. Not the same drill. All right. So here's Adams. Here's his quote. There are only two people in that room, the chief counsel, the attorney who just quit, and Eric Adams. If you can quote from that, you're on target. Anything other than that is just speculation and rumors. Well, if you told us what the real deal was, we wouldn't have to have speculation and or rumors, would we? No, we wouldn't. Let's go ahead. And here is a kind of a summation of a news conference I want to take a quick peek at. And it kind of sums up where we sit with a bunch of this stuff and how the mayor is handling it. It's pretty interesting how he just basically is stonewalling the situation. Yep, nothing to see here.
Swirling allegations, federal probes, and resignations, Mayor Eric Adams says his team is focused, not allowing this growing ethical storm to be a distraction. News 4's Andrew Siff is at City Hall right now with what else the mayor had to say.
It's a meeting on Tuesday.
Adams said on issues that matter, he's delivered.
I have one job, take care of the people of this city. And you know what? I'm doing a darn good job in doing it.
But instead of kudos, the mayor faces questions, like why his police commissioner resigned, why his chief counsel, Lisa Zornberg, suddenly quit over the weekend.
If you're able to quote Eric says something or the chief counsel says something, then you are on target. Other than that, it's speculations and rumors.
Federal investigators seized phones from 3 members of the Banks family: schools chancellor David Banks, consultant Terry Banks, and deputy mayor Phil Banks. All have denied wrongdoing. So has another aide, Tim Pearson, the one-time NYPD commander who was Adams's supervisor at the police department. Today,
That is the individual that we believe the chief attorney, was telling Adams, you need to get this guy out of here. The optics on this are horrific. Fire his you-know-what. And Mayor Eric Adams, because this is, a close, associate of his, he's like, no, we're going to get through this. We're just going to, nose to the grindstone. We're going to focus. Like he said, we're just going to keep on going. All right, see how that goes. I'm out of here.
the mayor said Pearson proved his value by cutting the exorbitant costs of the migrant crisis.
Tim Pearson's history in the police department of doing those type of analysis, we asked him to go in and look in, and we saved hundreds of millions of dollars.
Among those skeptical of that explanation,
Yeah.
City Controller Brad Lander.
None of it instills trust in city government.
Lander said his office reviewed 12,000 city contracts and all too often found problems, like the NYPD's plan to fix the facade at headquarters for $5 million. He says City Hall improperly submitted the contract as an emergency. Asked if he thought the mayor should step down.
Look, this is why I'm running to replace him.
There are other challengers like State Senator Zelnor Myrie, State Senator Jessica Ramos, and former Controller Scott Stringer. Adams said he's tuned it all out, just as he did when the feds seized his own phones 10 months ago.
I know how I live my life. I follow the law.
For now, Mayor Adams is hoping to shift
The problem with what Mayor Adams is saying is that, okay, you might be following the law. We don't really know, but there hasn't been any direct accusations against the mayor, but everybody else surrounding him is just being kind of picked off and or quitting left, right, and center. I mean, the numbers are staggering for this administration. The numbers are just like, what's going on? So you got a New York Post article here, all the investigations, raids, and charges surrounding Eric Adams' administration in Dalton, in township of Thornton, South Chicago. You got a handful, you got like a few people, but here you've literally got divisions and you've got big entities. I mean, the most police officers in any department in the United States, and you're on your 3rd commissioner. I mean, it's just some crazy stuff. So we're not going to go into it in super detail, but the Adams 2021 mayoral campaign. You've got Brianna Shuggs, a 25-year-old fundraiser who somehow maybe brought in $18 million, and there is a kickback scheme involving the Turkish government and a Brooklyn-based construction company. Really? Okay. All right. Allegedly. All of these things are alleged for the most part. There have been some arrests, but that's been a while ago. The Fed's warrant said they were looking for evidence of theft of federal funds, wire fraud, conspiracy to steal federal funds, and conspiracy as part of a public corruption probe examining whether cash was illegally funneled into Adams' 2021 campaign. Oh, that would not be good. Again, these are allegedly, right? It's kind of like, what have I got going on here? I don't need that. I need that. Sorry about that, folks. Bad look. The optics were just bad on that, right? So how about the New York Police Department commissioner and his twin brother? So the twin brother runs a security advising company. He's a consultant. And if you had some issues, hey, go see him. He'll get the job done for you. We've got close aides, David, Phil, and Terrence Banks. I mean, when you got 3 brothers, involved and they're tight with the mayor, You get the deputy mayor for public safety, private consultant Terrence, and schools chancellor David. I mean, all these folks are related and they've got these political offices, and you're just left with kind of going, oh, okay. All right. You got shenanigans in there. Similar to the other inquiries, the Banks brothers are suspected of partaking in a corruption and influence peddling scheme, namely whether ex-cop Phil Banks had a hand in steering city contracts to his brother Terrence's clients. Okay, so you got that one going on. But you know what? You've got the mayor doing this kind of ridiculous stuff. And then you've also got the mayor. Where's my picture with the mayor and Diddy? There's a great picture of Eric Adams with Diddy on the stage, and he's giving him the key to the city of New York. That key has been since given back after that video of Diddy just beating the crap out of his girlfriend. Diddy, Sean Puffy Combs, if you're not familiar with Diddy, Sean Puffy Combs denied bail yesterday for a second time. And I think that's a good call. I think he probably needs to get used to what prison is like. And right now he's in, is he in a Queens or a Brooklyn prison? Yeah, it's the same one that a bunch of famous people have gone to. And you're like, oh, that doesn't sound good. But, that's what happens when you do some crazy stuff and you finally get caught. So then we've got Winnie Greco, the federal agents in the Bronx home of yet another one of Adams' top aides, Winnie Greco, back in February as they searched for emails and records about trips the mayor made to China during his years as the Brooklyn borough president. Okay. Yeah, what were you doing there? What kind of contacts you got going on there? Because the FBI will just take your phone. They just go through everything. They look at your searches. I mean, they just do a deep dive. It's really interesting, right? They used to raid, you'd put taps on people's phones, go down that route. Because we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have all this information sitting on a phone, I'm pointing to an iPad here that, that the cops can come in and take now. We've got Eric Ulrich. Eric Ulrich, the former head of the City Department of Buildings, that's interesting, is facing charges of political favors in return for more than $150,000 in bribes. Pay for play, right? Hey, you betcha. We can get that done. Wanna move along that renovation permit? Yeah. A couple of grand and get the job done. $2,500. You betcha. It'll get the job done. Right to the top of the list. Here's your permit. Have a nice day. Thanks for the cash. So, you've got allegations of a ton of that, none of which have been directly related to the mayor. And most of them are all just allegations at this point. But what you're seeing is, just this mass pattern of shenanigans going on. And if there's enough shenanigans going on, FBI gets involved because they're like, all right, okay, all right, I guess we'll do some work. We'll get in there and we'll go. Retired fire department, New York chiefs Anthony and Brian Cordasco. So once the two highest ranking members of the fire department, New York Bureau of Fire Prevention, were hit with a federal indictment Monday that accused them of allegedly accepting nearly $200,000 in bribes. Now, again, none of this directly tied to the mayor, but when your chief attorney tells you, hey, you got to start letting some of these folks go because they are dead weight and it's going to bring you down. And when you don't listen to your attorneys, who it's their job to save your ass, then, you're on your own. You're on your own. If you, as a former cop and now as a mayor of a ship that appears to be going down, don't listen to your attorneys, all bets are off, right? Because what are you're going to bring another one in? You're going to bring a new attorney in who doesn't really understand kind of how things have gone. You bring a lower attorney in and, put them on the top of the heap. Okay. All right. But what it says is that Mayor Adams isn't willing to listen to advice. Say he's getting bad advice. Is he getting bad advice? I mean, he's got people quitting around him without explanation. So, things are going sideways. You got to cut some ties. You just got to cut some ties. I talked about this couple of days ago in a podcast. It's like where the mayor of Seattle here had to cut our police chief loose because he had accusations from numerous women that he was sexually harassing them. And then our chief of police, Adrian Diaz, and then he kind of did this last minute Hail Mary and said, no, I can't be accused of sexually harassing women because I'm gay. I'm gay. No chance of harassment. And that just didn't go down well. So he had to basically be let go. And the mayor here said, hey, he's my buddy. I believe in him. And yet you got too many distractions going on. So I got to cut ties because this ain't a good look. And even if you believe in the person, if they've got too much, of this stuff that's drawing to them, where people are quitting and giving no explanation. Yeah, I have great opportunity, but these folks wouldn't be quitting if things were going well and if things were managed right. And so now you've got the captain of the ship saying, nope, we're not going to fire him. We're just going to keep going. And he's going to deny, that anything bad is going on. All right. Yeah. But Eric Adams' friends keep having their phones taken away. You've had so many individuals where this has been the case, and you're like, okay, all right. What's the big picture that they're getting at? Or are there multiple big pictures? I think that's what the case is, right? It can be hard to keep track of all the people around New York's mayor who are under investigation. That was kind of my thought, was there's just a ton of people that are being taken down, and how, when are we going to see an end result? Is the mayor going to make it to the end of his term? I think he's 3 years in. Is that right? 4-year term? Is Eric Adams' luck about to run out? Losing one police commissioner might be merely careless, but losing two with a number of federal investigations targeting the mayor's inner circle has encouraged challengers. So, all right. So Eric Adams is, he's self-identified as a moderate. He's pro-public safety, former cop. He's gone down that route. He's been tough on crime. For New York City, for a city that is typically run by lunatics, far-left lunatics, now you've got these far-left lunatics circling and basically saying, hey, he couldn't get the job done. Look at all the crazy stuff going on with his administration. We need to step in. We need some progressive leadership back in the saddle in New York, because it's not really working. It's not really working. But will these investigations come about anytime soon? Who knows? These things can take years, right? But I think with the rapid developments you're seeing right now, we're going to see something pretty soon. Because people don't quit, people don't jump ship unless they're pretty convinced something sideways is about to go down. Here we go. Maybe I don't want to be involved with all of this before it actually happens, right? So, here's the picture. Yeah. Do you think this one's going to age well? Is this one going to age well? Look at that. Oh, yeah, they're so happy. Here's the key to our city. Hey, what about that 1,000 bottles of lube you had at your house? Yeah, I mean, there was some there's some baby oil in there too. If you haven't heard about the Sean Puffy Combs, it's a 14-page indictment. Go look at Section 12, letters A, B, and C. Read through that. You will hear the term freak off, and you will read some stuff where you're like, oh, okay. All right. If the government is alleging that this happened on top of all the other stuff that's out there, this guy's going to do some prison time, because the charges are just like, oh, that's not good. I mean, it's absolute crazy stuff. I've got a podcast coming out on that. And some of it is, I mean, it's really disturbing. It's sex trafficking and human trafficking and drugging people up, and, sex parties with involuntary partners for days, and then liquid IVs. They're arranging people to come in and do IVs because the people are so worked afterwards. And some people are getting batted around, and so they got to hunker down. And Diddy's, providing them places to stay so their bruises can heal up. Just some wild stuff. So this photo here is probably not going to age all that well. Eric Adams was smart enough to ask for the key back. I think that was in summer when the video came out of P. Diddy using his girlfriend as a punching bag. I think so. He's just throwing her around. Just horrible, horrible stuff. But you know what? These rumors have been going around on Diddy for a while, but there are so many people involved in an individual and his crimes that allegedly happened. A lot of people knew. A lot of people had to have been paid off and known. And that's kind of the same thing with what you've got going on with Eric Adams. Maybe I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean? Be reasonable. There hasn't been anything that has tied the mayor directly to any of this stuff, but there's so much of it that you're going, there's something, if it looks like a duck, talks like a duck, swims like a duck, it's probably a duck. Is it a duck for dinner? I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah. So it just keeps going on. Eric Adams under pressure to oust top aide and close friend amid federal probes. And that's the most recent big deal that's kind of come up. Pressure is building on Mayor Eric Adams to fire one of his key aides and longtime friends, Timothy Pearson, who's ensnared in a mushrooming corruption scandal. And what's interesting is that these scandals are, blowing up, but there's just so many different ones with so many different angles. And you're like, wait a minute, what about, oh yeah. And that's kind of tied to here. And that's why I think your investigations are taking as long as they are, because they're so convoluted. Several advisors to Adams have encouraged him to oust Pearson. Hey, you got to cut that weight. He's your buddy. You guys have known each other forever. But if you want to stay mayor and if you want to have some optics that don't look terrible, cut him loose. Doesn't matter. You got to be brutal. You got to cut him loose. That's just what needs to happen, right? Even if he's doing some good work, if there's enough accusations of something that's gone sideways, cut him loose. I'm sorry, you got to make those tough calls. According to 3 people briefed on the conversations who were granted being anonymous to discuss a sensitive personal matter, one of the 5 advisors, Chief Counsel Lisa Zornberg, abruptly resigned because he wouldn't do what she told him to do. That makes sense to me. And again, we are guessing on what's going on here, but there's enough stories out there that folks are saying, hey, and he is taking a public position where he's just like, those are all rumors. Nothing's going on. There's all these probes, but it's kind of like the super mayor, Tiffany Henyard in Dalton saying, I'm going to get you the truth. I'm going to get you the truth. I'm going to get you the truth. And then when you don't hear it, and then when you've got probe after probe after probe and folks quitting and, things going sideways, you tend not to believe that individual. In this case, it's the mayor, right? So, just one thing after another. The advisors recognize Adams may not follow their guidance. He is exceedingly loyal, even to the most problematic aides, and that will be his downfall. Because he's super loyal. Okay, yeah, but if you're being loyal to somebody who's gone sideways and the optics are terrible, hey, politics are tough. You know what? Put on a helmet. It's tough out there. You're going to take a beat down. And to a degree that at times frustrates his advisors, frustrate to the point where they quit. Yep, I'm out. Boom, I'm done. No mas. He chafes at public criticism of the current sort aimed at Pearson, because it's his buddy. City Hall did not immediately respond to a request for comment and the pressure against Pearson. He and Pearson have a long and deep history. Pearson was his commanding officer when the two worked in the New York Police Department. And he stuck up for Adams when the then rabble-rouser had few allies on the force. 2 of the people said, as a black police officer, Adams challenged the system's endemic racism from within its ranks. Okay, you can do that all day long. But if you've got folks that are going sideways on you, and like they said, New York Police Department is a brotherhood, it's a bond. Okay, but this isn't about being a police officer anymore. And I know that bond goes forever, but now you're mayor. So you want to keep your job? You want to keep that bond? you want to keep the optics going of how they are right now, that's not going to work out for you. And that's why people are calling for the mayor's resignation. And what do you think the odds are of the mayor actually resigning? Or does he just go down in flames? Next election, he doesn't run, something like that. I can see that happening. Or does he actually quit at some point here? I don't think he will quit, at least not right now. Because even though these allegations are for folks in his circle and sometimes in his inner circle, not enough has been pinned directly to him. And maybe the FBI is waiting, to get all their ducks lined up, we're talking about ducks a lot, aren't we? Yeah. That whole Springfield thing. Are they eating the ducks? Are they eating Fluffy the cat? Are they eating the dogs? Dogs for dinner? Those are other good names for restaurants in Springfield right now. Ducks for dinner and dogs for dinner. It's catchy, right? I mean, it makes you think. You think anybody go there? Probably not. Yeah. They're getting bomb threats. Did a podcast on that yesterday. Bomb threats. And a bunch of the bomb threats are from Haiti. Wild, right? But as a leading advisor to the mayor who earns more than $240,000 a year, Pearson has become a hindrance and he needs to go. And he knows it. And his attorney knows it. Everybody knows it. But because of that whole police deal, yep, we're not doing that. So he'll either go down in flames or he just kind of, he waits this out and sees if the tide turns. I would say with all of the investigations going on, that tide is not going to, it's just not going to, it's not going to turn anytime soon. He's got too much stuff going against him. The tide's still incoming. It's just piling on you. Cut loose your problems, Cut loose your problem aides, Mayor Adams, or risk your entire mayoralty. That's a weird word, isn't it? In your entire career as mayor of the New York City. Cut him loose, but he won't. And it's because I don't think he knows how to play politics well enough. He probably doesn't have, he's got some probably consulting position after being mayor of New York City. But with the number of folks that are, he's basically going down with right now, I don't see him working his way out of this one. I see things going sideways. Yet the mayor's been digging in. The ouster has a obvious first step. Whether or not he's a target of the problem, Caban, he's one of the dudes that's been just basically had an insurmountable conflict, having to work with federal agents while they probe his sibling and maybe him. Meanwhile, the mayor's got to deal with all this stuff, and he's not listening to consultation on how to handle it. So we've beaten this one to a dead horse, but I think the mayor either steps down pretty soon, if it's going to happen, because something will pop up, but I don't think that will happen. And I'm more inclined to think that the mayor just sticks it out because that seems to be what he's positioning himself for right now. So that's where we sit. But as these stories come up, I mean, we've got just one example after another of, the mayor's lack of leadership. You got lack of leadership. Because if he had leadership, he'd be cutting some people loose that probably need to be cut loose, and it would make him look better. And it's all about optics. It's not really about what's going on in these probes. It's about the optics of how to stay in office, right? All right. That's it for me on this one. I don't think we've got anything more. No, we've covered it all. But yeah, tons of these stories just coming up almost on the daily right now. I'll keep covering them for you. Thanks for being here on this live stream, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.